Welcome to Texas, where we have had approximately 120,000 race fans flocking through the gates to attend this year's United States Grand Prix. They're excited, we're excited. I hope you're excited too. We're racing today then in Travis County, Texas, where 20 corners and speeds of up to 200 miles per hour await us on this magnificent racetrack. It's 60% full throttle with plenty of good opportunities to pass, especially through the two DRS zones into Turn 1 and the long back straight into Turn 12. What a race we have in store today! So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Kimi Antonelli lines up on pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Tsunoda, Norris, George Russell and Verstappen, Leclerc, Hamilton, Hadjar and Fernando Alonso, Albon, Sainz, Liam Lawson and Stroll, Hülkenberg, Bortoleto, Ollie Behrman and Esteban Ocon. Doohan and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot. And now it's time to head down to the track. And joining me in the commentary box once again, Naomi Schiff. Hi, Gnomes. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, every driver certainly has their own way of preparing themselves before a race. But I can tell you that pre-race rituals are a real thing. When I was in go-karting, I used to touch every wheel in a specific sequence before I got into the kart. And then I stepped up to cars and had a specific set of fireproof base layers just for race day. So watch the drivers when they're on the grid. Some may be sitting on the floor and isolating, others may be up to other things that they do. But these little things really help their minds get ready for the race.
All right, give me a quick radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Okay, DRS is now available. Okay, you've just started the final lap of the race. Final lap.
Thanks everyone. It was a good weekend. Thank you everyone.
I couldn't have done it better.
This has been absolutely magnificent. Victory today for Kimi Antonelli.
And it's one thing to win, but to win like that in total dominant style, that was a fantastic drive, and it is not one that we see very often.
We had drama from start to finish, but in the end, there was only ever one that could take that top spot. A young man with a big future, today's a winner. Well done, Kimi Antonelli.